All right, apparently we're live streaming. Let's see, I guess we're live streaming. Check, check, first live stream. Welcome everybody. It's 8:17 a.m. Eastern. This is my very first live stream on a non-farm payroll day, so we'll see how good it goes. I have no idea how all the software works, but we'll give it our best shot. And yeah, go see the pre-market forecast if you haven't already checked that out. Basically, everything looks weak. I expect it to continue to be weak. I'm waiting to short pops. You can see we've got all the major futures markets over here to the right. This is the scoreboard where we click around and check things out. And we've got the hourly chart here, the daily chart here, and I've got my other higher time period charts on different screens. So just looking for good hourly setups that we want to trade into. So today, just going to be looking to try and get involved from the short side of the indices if possible. And then if anything else pops up here on the scoreboard, we'll go ahead and take a look at that as well. Everything is always in play. We don't know what's going to happen. We will trade what the market puts in front of us. So NFP is coming out in about 12 minutes. Kind of looking around at my console here, making sure everything is working. It says live, which is fantastic. Got something in my eye, which is awesome. Don't know what the hell it is, but hey, that's live. Let's see here. So yeah, I guess looks like everything's working. I guess we'll find out afterwards. Okay, so these are hourly bars here. This is what we're waiting for. And of course, NFP is coming out at 8:30, so we don't really have an hourly close. So we'll want to see if there's anything that we like heading into NFP. Typically, I won't trade the announcement, especially NFP is going to be nuts. This is going to be a big one, you guys. If this number comes in hotter than expected, then look out below. Stocks are going to get hammered. If it comes in a little better than expected, we might get a little bit of a bounce, but I do expect the selling pressure to continue next week regardless. So we'll just have to see if you know, the downward momentum continues today, or if we get a bounce today and it continues next week. Stocks look extremely weak. It really today is entirely dependent on the NFP number. So we'll just be open-minded and see what happens and trade our system. All right, so let's go ahead. This is the ES here. And you can see we're just kind of in congestion on the hourly. Here's the NQ, same thing. A little bit of a bounce here on the hourly. They're all kind of rallying, heading into the news here. Here's the Russell. Let's look at the bond space. Yeah, bonds are rallying a little bit. Gold's trying to push up. Silver's trying to push up. There's copper, platinum, kind of just waiting. So we'll see what the announcement is. Probably get our first signal around 9 a.m. Eastern. I try to take my trades based off the hourly close. I've set this up so that hopefully it will be conducive to streaming for you guys to follow along. We'll see. We'll give it a try. And personally, I like to trade 5 or 6 trades a day if I can, risk maybe 500 per trade. If 3 lose and 3 win and you make 2 to 1 or better on your winners, then you can do pretty well. So that's what I like to shoot for with the day trading. Let's go ahead and look at crude oil here. Yeah, crude's looking very bullish. Covered this in the pre-market forecast yesterday. In fact, I almost tagged the low here yesterday. I almost is here. I was very tempted to buy that. I didn't because I got distracted, and it kind of came a little bit later in the day at 11 off of the crude inventories number, but that was my area and that was the low of the day. So it was cool to see that. Doesn't always work that well, but yesterday it did. Let's look at natural gas. Natural gas looks pretty bearish today. I'm going to look to short that if I get an opportunity on a big bounce. Got a nice flash pattern here on the daily, and on the weekly chart, you're coming out of a really nice extension resistance up in here. So why nat gas is falling. It says my bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. I really don't know what that means, but I guess we'll find out later. To do a search on that. This is just the inaugural stream to see what happens. And yeah, I guess if I don't think you pause a stream, right? So if I want to just take a break, I'll just kill the webcam but leave the stream running. So that's what we're going to wait for. Let's grab some water. I have to get this thing out of my eye at some point. Maybe it's an eyelash. I guess I should mute my my computer. Seems to be fine. I guess there's a delay I'm seeing, so that's interesting. All kinds of fun things to learn. But there's no better moment than the present to start. I'll figure it out. So this says bitrate slow, open a widget. Let's open a widget. I know what that means. Stream status good. The bitrate is lower than the recommended. We recommend that you use a stream bitrate of 6800. I don't know where I changed that. I'll look into that after the broadcast. Kind of reading around here, trying to get the lay of the land. See what the Sam hell is going on with all this streaming software. All right, guys, you excited? NFP coming out in 5 minutes. And I'm just, you see me looking around and I look really confused just because I'm looking at other charts and thinking all these good things that we try to do to make good decisions, to put on some good trades. So here's my OBS software. Seems that it's working. We'll see. All right, that's running. All right, go ahead and take a quick look at the euro. And yeah, euro's kind of just, a little rally here before the news. I mean, is there, non-farm payrolls can cause some, pretty serious volatility. So sometimes, I mean, the market is just so weak right now. Bonds, I mean, I covered all this in the pre-market forecast, but, bonds are falling, rates are rising. A lot of people are wrong-footed right now who, bought into this rally. Here's the NASDAQ, they bought into this rally. They thought it was going to keep going, and now we're just getting hammered. So, if we got a spike on the NASDAQ up to, 16,600, I mean, you've got a lot of resistance up in there, and, anything's possible on NFP. So you could sometimes just get these, massive moves, distorts this whole chart, and then collapses. So we'll see what happens. But if we get a push up into, I can only watch one, typically we watch all the markets because we're scrolling through the hourly chart. So we have time to look at all the different markets, find the best setups. But for NFP, it moves so fast, I've got to pick one. So, I'll just look at the NASDAQ. Bonds can be good usually. Look at the Ultra Bond. Some good resistance on the Ultra Bonds, up around 130.26, up in here. Silver, definitely, I'd love to short. Where the major resistance level is here. So, silver might be good. 2365-ish on silver. I think that might be, silver is the one I'm going to watch. Let me get Dom ready here. We're in the March contract. Yeah. All right. I'm going to watch silver here just, because I'd like to get short into some resistance. Silver looks very weak to me for a number of different reasons. We can talk about that in a bit. But certainly up into 23, anything over 2360 I think would be a great short. You know, sometimes these things can just rally and then just get shot down. So I might set an order up here, get the exact number, right at 65. I might try and just set an order at 65. Low likelihood that it'll get filled, but you never know with silver. 65 is kind of up in here. 23. Yeah, I'll set an order to short silver at 23.60 right now. Maybe I'll set it at 59. I'm going to order to short one silver at 59. Again, I have no idea if we'll get there. Let's see. It'll be fun. The order's in. Up here, 23.59. You know, normally I don't trade NFP, but if I can see a good level where, hey, if the market spikes up to this level, would I be happy to be short from that level? Then I'll throw in an order. You know, sometimes they get filled, sometimes they don't. In this case, silver looks like a great short. Anything up into 23.60 on the volume profile, you've got a very low volume area there. It's right into our resistance pocket here with OMA. So let's see what happens. Maybe we can get lucky and get filled on our short up there, because sometimes these things move so fast. You know, they'll spike up there, take out all the stops, and then reverse and slam down. So if you can put your entry order where you think maybe there are some stops hiding out, and you've got good reasons for doing so with your own technical analysis method, then NFP or any other big release is a good opportunity to take advantage of that volatility. All right, so it is 8:29 Eastern. The NFP is out in about 45 seconds. Water. Agua, por favor. Muy bien. I gotta entertain myself, guys. Trading gets boring after a while. I love it. It's fun, but we gotta make it a little bit more fun. Hence the streaming. All right. So NFP is gonna get nuts here in a second. Let's see what happens. 15 seconds. The order to short silver is in at 23.59. And we'll just have to see what happens. All right, 3 seconds. Here we go. There's the number. Well, it looks like my order is not going to get filled. It's just dumping. I will cancel that. I'm guessing this is a hotter than expected NFP number that came out. Go ahead. So the silver is canceled. You know, I had the silver short up in here just in case this thing fired up. It didn't, but you never know. So that order has been canceled. Let's go ahead and take a look at the NQ reversing nicely. Yeah, so this looks like a hotter than expected number. I'll check the number in a sec. But I don't get involved in, you know, chasing this intra bar. I wait for the 9 o'clock bar to close and see what's on the board and see if we make a decision to put on a trade hour by hour. I figure that's the best way to set up the live stream. Then we have time to, as the stream grows, we have time to chat and interact and all that good stuff while we wait for the hourly setups. And then once we put on the trades, you know, we have time to talk about them and manage them and all that good stuff. So let's see how that goes. And it's tough to follow this many markets, you know, unless you're following them on an hourly chart or higher. And honestly, there's a lot of noise, you know, when you get down into the lower time periods. All right, so NASDAQ is tanking. ES is tanking. Beautiful. I guess I've got to get one of these weight screens on my OBS. So if I want to just not show the screen for a moment, I just switch to a different scene, I think. And then that scene can have something that says be right back or whatever. So I'll figure all that. We'll figure that out. But so far, I'm assuming this live stream actually goes through. I'm happy with the test. It's fun to actually try it. All right, let's take a look at everything here. So ES collapsing, NASDAQ collapsing, Dow the same, Russell, everything's heading down. Most likely a hotter than expected NFP number for sure. And this was in the pre-market forecast. So looks like we're off to the races. Bonds as well. This is the 10-year. Go ahead and look at the 30-year. Probably going to see a pretty big drop across everything today is what it kind of looks like. So we'll play it the best we can. Wait for the market to come to us. Here are the ultra bonds. Love the ultra bonds. Let's look at gold. Gold just getting smoked. Gold, new weekly lows. You can see this is the daily chart here. You can see we're making new lows on the week for gold. Silver, we haven't made new weekly lows yet. So, you know, if silver could punch back up here, I'd love to short it. But again, I'm going to wait for this hourly close. The silver's on my short list today. A little bit of a recovery here today, interbar, which is nice. I'd like it to get back higher. Yeah, NASDAQ recovering. This is why you got to be careful trading these numbers, guys. You can get smoked if you're not careful. I just kind of cycle through. This is what I do all day. I just cycle through the hourly chart across all these markets. This is copper. Just kind of see where we are. And everything. Here's platinum. Crude oil. So you can see the way these are set up is we've got the, this is the hourly chart here. Got the daily chart here. As I said, I got all my other charts that I need, my higher time period charts, my volume profile charts. Those are all on my other screens. But then over here on the scoreboard, you've got the, these are the indices, right? So you got the ES, NQ, YM, Russell, and you got the bonds. These are all futures. Then you got the metals, and you got some energies, crude and nat gas. You got the major currencies here, the G7, euro, pound, etc. We've got the agriculturals here, corn, wheat, soybeans, soybean oil, soybean meal. And we've got the livestock here, the cattle, the hogs, and the feeder cattle. And then down at the bottom, we've got Bitcoin and Ethereum. So these are the markets we're going to cover intraday. And just waiting for some good setups. What I like about this is I think once I do the live stream, this just goes on YouTube all by itself. You guys can see how I'm calling out the trades intraday. Here's nat gas. Nat gas collapsing, stretching the neck. Yeah, nat gas expected that for sure. You're coming out of a very nice weekly level here on nat gas. See here, this weekly chart. See this extension right there. And you got two of them back to back. Boom. And the daily exhausted here up into that weekly resistance level. So that's why I liked shorting natural gas today. But I'm waiting for, you know, a pop. Some days you get them, some days you don't. Here, I'm going to show you back here. This was a good trade right here. These are the kind of trades I like. This is an hourly chart. 8, 9 a.m. Boom. You see how it pops up, big exhaust. They suck in the longs. I like to short this. And then as it starts to drop, all the longs have to get out of their positions and it accelerates. This is where I like to, these are my favorite trades, the reversals. They don't always work, but when they do, they're great trades. Set up here so we more easily see everything. So that's nat gas. Now we got the currencies here. So dollar strong. That is nice. I'd like the dollar to continue to rally. Here's the pound. Guys, you can always see the the market I'm on based on up here. It says British Pound Futures March contract, or you can look over here and see which one is highlighted. That tells you which contract we're looking at for the time. But I'll try and be as good as I can about telling you guys what we're looking at. So the pound could have been a good one there to short heading into the announcement. You got a pretty nice little pocket here. Nice daily resistance pattern there. Look at Swiss franc here, finally giving back a little bit. Been on a tear lately. The Canadian dollar. These will all be similar, but I'm just kind of loading the data and flying through here. So Australian dollar getting smoked along with the indices. Here's New Zealand dollar. Also getting smoked. Let's look at the yen. Good day for the dollar. So go ahead and look at corn. Of course, we have our break on corn at 8:45, so that break will start soon. I believe, is that the corn break? Is it 8:45 to 9:30? I think so. I don't usually day trade the ags. I think they reopen at 9:30. We'll wait on those. What's good about looking at all the markets is, you can get some good outliers that move a little differently to what everything else that's going on. This is soybean meal, and we got soybean oil here. Again, I'm just loading all my data, so as we flip through later, everything's nice and loaded. Here's cattle, opens at 9:30, so we're not open yet. Here's hogs. Oh, are we open? Just loading. I think it's just loading. We open at 9:30, I believe. I never ever trade the livestock. I think I've put on a couple trades in my life, and they're good markets. I'd like to start trading them more often. Here's Bitcoin. Bitcoin nice and steady. What I like for Bitcoin today. A lot of resistance on Bitcoin, 45,000. Kind of stuck in this range. I mean, if we continue to head lower on everything else, I have a hard time believing Bitcoin's going to defy gravity, so probably look to support any good pops. Bitcoin today. What about Ethereum? It's kind of sitting here doing nothing. All right, so there's the full lay of the land. Got all of our charts nice and loaded. And it is 8:41 a.m. So we'll see if anything sets up here for 9 a.m. Eastern at the hourly close. See what I'm most interested in real quick, guys. So just let me pull through here. Basically, the indices, not really. I know that for sure. The bonds, pretty much not really either. I say not really because I'm waiting for, right now the train has left the station with the indices and the bonds, so we need to get some sort of a pullback. But we'll wait on those. Gold, the train has left the station. Silver, the train is trying to come back to the station to maybe let us jump on board. We'll see. There's a nice swing high at 2340, a little below 2340. So if this managed to suck all the way back up here somewhere and give us sort of one of these reverse exhaust patterns, I would definitely be interested in shorting that for a move back down. Silver likes to do that a lot. So silver is one I'll be watching at the close here at 9 a.m. So get copper. Dr. Copper. Certainly if we got a exhaust up here near these highs for Dr. Copper, could be a decent short for the 9 a.m. hour. Platinum, not really. I'm kind of stuck in this range for now. These things move fast. This is why you got to prepare heading into the hourly close, so you know what market you want to pay attention to. Sometimes you miss them, especially when you're covering. How many are we covering here? 4, 8, 11. I don't know, about 30 markets. Here's crude. So crude's kind of the only one I'm interested in buying at the moment. But again, it would have to dump, you know, down in here somewhere. Nat gas, I'm interested in shorting, but again, it would have to be up in here somewhere. The FX. So the euro, you see this will be correlated to, let's say, silver. You see how they look almost identical? Here's the silver chart. Here's the euro chart, right? They look identical. So if I have to pick one, you know, do I want to go long the dollar, meaning short the euro here, or do I want to just short silver directly? Much rather short silver and, you know, get some help from all the manipulators. Go with the flow. Hey guys, I love silver too. I love physical silver, but doesn't mean I'm not going to short it intraday. And, you know, people say it's being manipulated. Probably is. I mean, everything's manipulated. Just got to learn how it's being manipulated and use it to your advantage. That's all you can do. All right, so let's look at yeah, ags are not open. Yeah, so this is how I like to do it every hour, hour by hour. Kind of just scroll through the scoreboard, look at all my higher time period charts, the weekly, the monthly, the daily, look at my different volume profiles, and see if I, you know, identify something that just looks good to me. And for the upcoming 9 a.m. hour, silver is one where if we continue to push higher up into this level here, I mean, really, I'd like it to push. You know, I think that the good short on silver is actually up here, so I don't know if I would take it down here, but we shall see. All right, so we're gonna wait and see. I'm gonna use the restroom. So while I do that, I will go ahead and you know, I look very blurry on my YouTube live stream. I wonder if that's actually how it is. I guess we'll see at the end of the broadcast. Here, this says open widget. Stream's current bitrate. Stream status good. Minor issue. Yeah, so how do I increase the bitrate? Maybe I do that. Search this here. YouTube live stream. Bitrate low. See what Reddit has to say about that. Bitrate of 10,000. A warning. Lower the bitrate to 45. I stream. I would like to keep my bitrate higher as I play games. Should I ignore the warning? Is there something inherently bad? Sorry guys, I'm trying to figure out this bitrate issue. Yeah, I guess this is all right. I mean, if it moves too, if the bit rate is too high, I guess that's too much buffering. You guys don't want buffering, so we'll see how the quality turns out. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. All right, silver's dropping back down. I'm gonna go ahead and check that number here. Let's see what Zero Hedge has to say about that number. And then we're gonna go to the bathroom, have some dark chocolate, and get ready for the 9 a.m. hourly close. And then we will prepare for the 10 a.m. hourly close. That's how we do it. All right. Payrolls surge. Wow. Yeah, everything's going to get hammered today. That's what I thought based on the initial reaction. There was 216,000 jobs added with an estimate of 175,000. So this is very bearish for the stock market, bearish for bonds, hawkish for rates. So there you have it. So now we just need to look for a good short. Here's ES. I don't think we're going to get it on any of these. Certainly not at the 9 o'clock hour. But we should have some fireworks when the stock market opens at 9:30. That'll be fun. Cover that together. Here's the Dow. The Russ. I mean, I think the Russell's just going to get destroyed this year as all these smaller publicly traded companies refinance their debt at much higher interest levels. Not going to be good for the Russ. All right, let's see if bonds are giving us anything. Nope. See, I just don't trade, like, if this is going down, even if I think it's going to go down more, I don't just short here, because where do I have to put my stop? You know, way up in here. I don't like to do that. I like to short into resistance, or if I'm going to long, I like to long, you know, down near where I think the lows are going to be. That's how I like to trade. Gold. Silver. Yeah, silver is kind of the one. Here's the euro. Guessing the dollar is going to continue to get strong here. I mean, I'm open to shorting the euro, the pound. I do like the pound. Looking at some things, guys. I think the pound, if we could just get up here somewhere, I'd love to short the pound up here. I think the pound is kind of my best, because I don't think silver is going to go high enough for my liking. It's trying to. I think pound is the better short. We'll see if it can rally. I really like the pound. Up around 26.80, so the pound has a decent spot up here. I mean, silver, like I said, my preferred spot is definitely, you know, these highs would be the, I would consider a short up here around these highs for sure. All right, we're going to watch silver. We still have 10 minutes until 9 a.m., but we might short silver. Like I said, I give myself a budget of about 6 trades a day. And, you know, you get some winners and some losers, and hopefully by the end of the day, you made more money than you lost, more often than not. All right, so now I'm going to use the restroom real quick and see how I don't pause the stream. I know that. I think what I do is if I go like this, go. Okay, so I'm gone. You guys can watch the charts here. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. It is 8:55 a.m. So, yeah, I'd love to short silver up in here. I'm waiting for it. The higher, the better. Question would be, I think this is where you want to short it. I mean, typically I'd like to short it kind of up near this high here at 40. That's really my sort of my the lowest point at which I'd like to short it. I mean, I'd love to short it. The higher it goes, the better the short, in my opinion. We'll just have to see. You can see that the dollar pulling back as well, but I think this is just one of these reversals to reverse back down. It might not be. I might short and lose. That happens, obviously, about 50% of the time. Stocks continue to, I think it's kind of a similar situation for stocks. We've got a few minutes to go. I like silver. It's going to be my decision here for. Question is, do I short right here, right now? Just checking something. Yeah. This is going to be the spot we want to get short on silver. We've got about 4 minutes to go. I'm going to set the order up here at 28. It may just, maybe it. The order is in at 28. The stop is right now mental, but it's really up in here. Got about 2.5 minutes. We'll see if my order gets filled at 28. That's great. Right now we're still about 5 cents away. So the order is right here. That's where my order to get short is. If it doesn't get there, I'll probably just have to enter at market a little lower. But I do wait for the close of the hourly. We're very close to it. Lowered it to 26. Got about a minute and a half to go here. Trying to get short at 26. Ooh, didn't quite get me. It went offered 26, but it didn't go bid 26, so I didn't get filled. And I moved to 25.5. 25 now, trying to get short. So that was a little unlucky. It was one tick away from getting filled, and it just didn't. It went offered up there, it didn't go bid. Trying to get short at 24 now. That's what happens. That's the reality with trading. You know, sometimes you just miss it by a tick and it changes your whole day. We'll see this. I think we missed a great opportunity there. See, I got the order at 24 now. It'd be nice if it could jump up there. We've got 30 seconds left. And get up there. All right, we're short. That filled at 24. And the hour is closing right now. We're short from 24. I don't have a stop in at this exact moment, but I mean, really, if this is going to be valid, I kind of don't want to see it get back up here. So not going to put a stop in right now, but if we start to get, up around 36 or higher and start pushing, then I'd probably just have to cut my loss. Let's see. I mean, the NFP number was hot. Everything looks weak. Silver does have a lot of resistance here. Doesn't mean our trade has to work. Right now we're underwater. But we'll give it some time. Trade number 1 of the day. I mean, anything can happen, guys, I can love this short and then it goes up and takes your stop, and that happens a lot. You just gotta trust what you see, put them on, take your losses, and move from one to the next. So on this one, it's a good trade regardless of the outcome, and we'll just give it a chance here. My stop mentally is I kind of don't want to see it get any traction above these highs here. Might throw on another one up here at 29. We got an order to short one more at 29. Oh, 28.5 now. All right, so I'm short 2 from an average of 26. And like I said, if this thing starts pushing up here, I'm going to have to cut it. All right, so now we just wait and see. I'm going to monitor this one. Close to where I might have to cut it. Do not want to see it push higher than this. Silver's one that'll always make you sweat. Just it's its job. It's what it does. Nasdaq's pushing higher, so everything's just kind of pushing higher after this number temporarily. Bonds are still, I mean, the forecast for the day and that hot number, this is a good trade regardless. So we'll just see what happens. If I have to take a loss, I'll take a loss. Gold's trying to push higher. Yep. It's trying to make us sweat. So big reversal off these lows so far. Still short, holding for now. But not liking what I'm seeing. Look at the 10-year. Higher. Pretty good selling came in there at 33. Looking at my DOM while we flip through some other charts, but it's a little disconcerting at the moment, must admit. We're still short. Silver is a beast. I'm going to hang on to this. It's hard, you know, because I was down 775 at one point, and now I'm only down, you know, 350. It's like, oh, okay, do I want to just take my 350 loss and move on to the next one? No, I do. I like this trade. I like silver looks weak overall. That NFP number came in really hot, and I'd like to hold this. And on a couple of contracts, if this thing can collapse, you know, be a good payday. So I think it's worth the risk. Obviously, I don't want to lose $1,000 on this trade, but that's what happens. That's what happens. Stock market's going to open here in about 23 minutes. My average entry is 26, so kind of close to it now. Sometimes what I do too, if it comes back like this to my average entry, you know, I can sometimes close it and then try and set the order back up there. But I'm going to leave this one open now. We at least have a clear idea now. Now we know that we really don't want it to go above that high. That's kind of our, it was probably just going maybe some people shorted here, put their stops above that high, and they had to go take out some liquidity. And let's see if we've got the fuel to drop. I don't know, but we will find out. See what the dollar's doing. Similar. Gold's trying to be good. This is the 10-year. If the 10-year can start heading lower with the 30-year and ultra bonds, if we can get a re-acceleration of the downside, then silver should follow. Looks like it's trying to follow now. We're up slightly in our position, but that doesn't mean much at the moment. I'm not in this for a few ticks. I'd like to hold it. All right, so we're short 2 contracts, as I said, from 23.26. We held it as it went against us, which is good. Now, if we can just get a sharp break to the downside, I'll let you know, where I cover. This is what I want to see. I want to see a sharp acceleration, because when you get silver right, it can really start dropping hard and fast. I'd like to get a decent chunk if possible. Let's get a little bit of agua. Bit of stretching. I got the standing desk here. I use the standing desk because I work a lot. I'm always trading or studying trading, trying to get better, reviewing my trades, reviewing my setups. So I like to stand while I do all that. It's trying to drop. There's any update on that NFP number. Sometimes, Zero Hedge will dig deeper into the numbers, but this is being billed as a jobs shocker. A hot print is the worst case scenario. Whisper number 190, consensus 175, and the number came in at 216. I mean, that's going to destroy, the Fed lowering rates narrative, which could torch silver today and the stock market. But they did see, this is where they did revise October down 45,000 and November down. This is where you want to kind of dig into these numbers a little bit. Now our position's dropping nicely, which is good. We'll let it see if it can drop a little bit more. We're up, 875 right now on 2 contracts, but I'd like to give it a chance to keep going if possible. Yeah, so they're revising those other numbers, lower. So that's where you got to be aware of the details of the report. Getting some temporary support here. Gold's trying to drop. Dollar's kind of being stubborn at the moment. Oh, I see. I know why it's holding up here. All right, I closed it there. I think it is going to head lower, but I put on 2 contracts and I made 875 on that trade. That was a good trade. I do think it's going to head lower, but the reason I took that profit right there is because we are at the weekly point of control, the most heavily traded price for the week of silver. And I do think it's going to blow through it. But sometimes at the point of control, you see it can get held up, and you know I don't want it to head back up here. So that's why I took profit. Now, what's going to happen? Are we going to break lower? And if I would have held, I would have made more, maybe. But that's it. That trade's done. Made 875. Good trade. First trade of the live stream. Happy about that. Took a little bit of heat on that trade. You know, wasn't too thrilled about that. We shorted the first contract. It's tough, you know, because sometimes it'll, you know, it'll just open like this and dump. Sometimes it'll open and push higher like it did here. You just got to make the decision. But I'm happy I threw on that second contract. I had a lot of confidence in that resistance level. You can see up in here, we were at the daily value. I believe this is called the value area high. Everybody uses different terminology. We were getting out of balance here on the daily, according to the daily volume profile, which means there's a lot of resistance up here. You can see it over here on the daily volume profile. See here? So we were up near this low volume area. This is the volume profile for today. Let's go ahead and you can see the kind of there's the daily point of control coming across at 18.5. That's also the weekly point of control. That's why I took profit. And now you can see we're actually, you know, we're back up to 24.5. So look at that, guys. I took profit basically at that low here live before it happened. Doesn't always work that way, but you got to really, people ask about profit targets and, you know, all this kind of stuff and R factors. And yeah, overall you want to have a decent R factor, right? But you got to trade the market that's in front of you. You got to see what's going on. So right here, as we were short and it started to drop, I could see it ran into some, you know, some support there. You could see that. I still think ultimately by the end of the day, that support will probably break, maybe even in this hour. But the fact that I could see that support, I thought, why is there support there? And I start to look at my different charts. Oh, the weekly point of control is right there. That's the most heavily traded price of the week right there, is right at that 23.18 level. So, you know, obviously you don't know if that point of control is going to hold or break, but oftentimes the weekly point of control is where things are going to get choppy. And I didn't feel like sitting through 2 contracts of silver, you know, pushing back higher. It could have just broken straight through. They say, well, why'd you take it off, Andy? You're an idiot. No, it's just, you got to do, you know, what you believe is right in that moment. So for me, in that case, that was a good call to take this profit and book the 875 on that trade. So happy about that. Off to a good start, but the day is young and we'll just kind of stay grounded. It's getting chilly in here. I'm gonna have to, it's minus 15 degrees Celsius outside here in Sweden. It's very cold. So I'm just going to leave the live stream running. The market's going to open in 12 minutes. We had a really good trade. I got to take a breather now. I'll just cut the webcam, but leave the stream running. I'll make a sign or something that says I'll be right back. And yeah, we'll just keep fishing for trades. That's all we can do. But what I like to do is after I get a nice win like that, I like to just kind of get away from the computer, take a little walk around the house, you know, breathe a little bit. And because each trade you're in, you know, especially when you put on real contracts, it can be stressful. And whether it's a win or a loss, I like to digest it, because if it's a win and you sit here and you look for the next one, you know, you can start over trading and, you know, you can get greedy. If it's a loss, you can get revengeful. So I like to take a break between each trade if I can. So that's what I do. So I'll go ahead and leave the stream running. I'll be back. We'll continue. But for now, just going to cut the webcam and put it on when I get back. All right, guys, I'm back. Go ahead and remove the text from the screen here. Sec. See if I have to do like this. Very strong. All right, there we go. Chilly here. I had to put on a little sweatshirt. Very, very cold. Minus 15 degrees. Looks like there's quite a delay with the live stream, but that's okay. This is the first one. I'll work on fixing all that once I see how this one turned out. But a good trade to start the day. We shorted silver. There we go. We shorted silver. Again, average of a couple of contracts at 26. Covered at the low here, which was, you know, I did it because of the weekly point of control, but, you know, it's also an element of luck, the fact that it goes right back up after you cover. But I guess it's also some experience. That was good. I'm happy to book that. I got to get out of my... There we go. Okay. So now you can see the stock market's going to open here in about 3 minutes. Still looking at silver. I'm definitely, you know, if we went higher, it would be even a better short, up around 2360. I wouldn't be surprised to see this area hold again and push lower, but I'm not going to re-enter the short up here because I've already taken what I wanted to out of this trade. And in my experience, if you sit here and say to yourself, you know, hey, look, I shorted here, I took profit here, and it goes back up short. For me, that can lead to over trading and bad decision making. So I like to take my trade, hopefully, you know, make money. But when it's a winner or a loser, I just take a break. As you just saw me step away from the screen, I gather my thoughts, and I come back centered for the next, you know, trading opportunity. So now we got the stock market open in about 2 minutes. We'll take a look at what ES and NQ are doing. They're pushing higher. Not interested in anything. I mean, my main focus today on the stock market, excuse me, is shorting, but it'd have to go a lot higher. NQ rallying a bit. So you can see, even though the jobs number came out hotter than expected, I kind of dug into the numbers by reading that Zero Hedge article. And yeah, the last couple of months have been revised pretty sharply lower, right? So they're kind of padding the stats and then revising lower. So even though this was a hot number, it's not really as hot as it looks. So maybe stocks will end up rallying the rest of the day, right? Maybe it's not as hawkish for rates. We'll see. We won't know. But the charts are still very, very bearish overall, just to keep that in mind. Yes, quite a delay here on the live stream, but that's okay. That will be fine. We'll fix that somehow. All right, so stock market going to open here in 10 seconds. We'll just watch it together for fun. Keep an eye on the NASDAQ. Get some water. And 3, 2, 1 here. Wouldn't be surprised to see it push higher. A lot of people probably caught off sides shorting that number. Now maybe see a little bit of a squeeze. We'll see. I mean, the charts are super bearish. So overall, I think we're still headed a lot lower. But right now, I think we might head higher here at the open. No trades for us. For all you scalpers out there, that's my analysis for the open. If you're short, I think you're not going to be happy. Just give my little blue light a break back here. All right, so our next decision will be made at 10 a.m. Eastern. Again, based off the hourly bars here. see, here's the daily. Again, this is the NASDAQ. And yeah, good trade on silver there. Now we're just waiting for the next trade to set up, whatever that will be. You can see S&P 500 trying to push higher. So our job is to, first of all, come into the day with a good sense of what we think is happening based on the daily forecast that I publish before the market opens. Just gives you my thoughts. You know, we use the yearly chart, the quarterly chart, the monthly, the weekly, the daily. We look at all the markets together and see, you know, basically what I think is going to happen for the day, which is, you know, more or less accurate most days. But then where it all comes together is we've got to trade key levels together and wait for that to happen based on hourly setups into key, you know, daily, weekly zones where we want to take a shot. And even then, you know, my goal on average is to take, you know, let's say right around 4 or 5 high quality trades a day. I don't force anything, but generally speaking, I try to, you know, take around 4 to 5 trades, you know, risk whatever, $500 on each trade, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. And then just knowing that on 6 trades, you know, with, let's say 3 losses of 500 apiece, you know, that's 1,500 in losses. But then if you've got 3 winners, you know, even with just $1,000 of profit on each, you know, then you net out 1,500 on the day. You know, that's a really good day. So the key is just to wait for the quality setups and don't force it. And then also on the other side of the spectrum, when you see a good trade, don't second guess yourself, take the trade. So for silver here, you know, I was a little bit nervous, definitely, when it was pushing higher here. I thought, is this thing gonna now just push up here? And I'm gonna, you know, because I was close on 2 contracts, you know, up here around, you know, it adds up fast. If it had gone higher, I would have been, you know, down about $1,000, and that was kind of my risk on that trade. But I was pretty darn confident in this resistance level because of all the reasons I laid out. We were at the higher end, the daily value area, right? This is the balance volume profile zone. So when you get above it, you know, there's some resistance up here. Obviously, it depends on the kind of day. But for today, I was counting on this at the top of the value area being strong resistance. And then I still think it's going to be strong resistance. I wouldn't be surprised to see this drop through this support here. We took profit here at the weekly point of control. I do think we're going to head lower, but we may not. And we'll see. But that's why we took that trade. That was a good trade. And it was a high quality trade where I didn't hesitate. I was willing to take the loss if that's what the, you know, probabilities would have ended up dictating. That's just one of your losses for the day, right? You got to have a daily budget. You got to say to yourself, okay, I'm willing to risk X amount of dollars. I'm going to take X number of trades. You know your win-loss ratio roughly, and you know you just kind of structure it that way. But you can't get too attached to any one trade or the result of any one trade, because really, you know, it's a random distribution in terms of the outcome. So some days you're going to have 3 or 4 winners in a row, and you're going to feel like, you know, you're on top of the world. But really, the distribution of the wins is just luck. It's not luck if you have a system like we have, of course, but how those wins and losses come is kind of, you know, largely a factor of luck. Some days you'll take 4 great trades, you know, you have 4 straight losses, and that, you know, you're going to feel like shit after that. But you got to remember it's probabilities. You just got to move on to the next day. That's the hardest part of trading. That's why, you know, very few people can succeed with it. Number one, you got to have an edge, but then you got to really give your edge a chance to play out, which is not easy, especially live here on YouTube. But I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens. So far, we're 1-0. It's not saying a whole lot, but we're off to a good start anyways. I think silver is going to drop here, but that trade is in the past, and now we're just waiting to see what sets up for the future. So let's go ahead and cycle through everything here. Stocks pushing higher. You know, a general rule, if we look at everything, I'm always looking, cameras here, I know that. The main chart you guys see is here in front of me. You know, I've got screens here and here. So I'm taking a look at, you know, my different monthly, weekly, daily charts, volume profiles, all kinds of stuff. So my main area for the S&P 500, you know, if for whatever reason, you know, we got a spike up above That swing high from yesterday at 47.60 up in here. Maybe I'd short, but it's gonna have to go pretty high for me to want to short. So indices today, and I'm definitely not interested on the long side. There could be some good long trades today. Like, look, if you got in here, that's a great long trade, right? But I like to trade in the direction of what I perceive the weekly, daily, monthly, the higher time period energy. I like to trade with that direction if I can help it. Just kind of keeps me more disciplined. And it means having to sit back and watch a lot of trades that I think look good and I don't take, right? But the key is to focus on the ones I'm taking and why I'm taking those trades. So S&P heading higher, but not interested in doing business anywhere in this area here. Obviously, when I say doing business, I mean putting a trade on. NASDAQ, yeah, I mean, the weekly point of control is at 16, just below 16.6 up in here. But again, we'd have to push pretty high here on these indices for me to want to take a short at some point. Because right now you could have had a lot of shorts covering. Now you could get some shorts getting squeezed. This thing can push higher than you think, right? And I really have no idea where it's going to go. Obviously, I use my analysis and I wait for the market to try to come into areas where I think I've got a good, a shot to take a high probability trade. All right, let's go to the Dow. Dow's kind of hanging out, not doing much. Also not interested here. Look at the Russell. These are all going to have to push higher. Here is the 10-year Treasury note. Notice stocks are pushing higher and bonds here are not buying it, right? So this means that all this drop in bonds here, right? The whole week. Go ahead and this is the weekly chart of the 10-year Treasury note, right? We can bring up the 30-year as well. It's the same thing, right? Here's the 30-year. So here what you can see, the big drop, right? Just like stocks. So what does that mean? That means as bonds are dropping, rates are rising, right? If rates are rising, stocks are suffering. So right now in this intraday move that we're seeing, what you can notice is that so far as we're seeing this rally, let's say in the rate sensitive NASDAQ, right? It's pushing higher here so far. So far, the 10-year is not buying it. You see how we're staying here? So it means most likely at some point that NASDAQ rally is going to run out of steam. And hey, from my vantage point, the higher we go, the better the opportunity to short later in the day. So just let it do its thing. And this is how we interconnect all these markets and get a sense of what's going on. The bonds just kind of sitting here doing nothing. Gold as well, just kind of, not doing a whole lot at this exact moment. So we'll hang tight on gold. Silver, we took a nice chunk out of. I do think silver is going to roll over the rest of the day, but we took a nice little chunk out of it there, and I'm content to let whatever the next trade is set up. Let's look at copper. Copper wasn't a bad short there, but I was too busy with silver, and I'm glad I took silver. But looking at some of my other charts that I use and this pattern here, copper was a good short there at 9 a.m., but we're interested in the 10 a.m. hour now. Platinum just kind of sitting here. Let's look at crude. Crude's got a pretty nice bullish structure overall, but it would have to pull back quite a bit for me to be interested. Look at nat gas. Yeah, nat gas, if we've got a pretty nice daily pattern. So if we later on in the day set up a good short up in here somewhere, I might be interested. We'll see. Currencies I don't generally trade unless I have nothing else to trade and something looks good, just because they don't move as much when you're right. They don't have the same kind of volatility. You could just kind of get in one of these currency future positions and it just sits there. It's not that fun. But I'll still trade them if I see something good. But they're all just sitting here. You can see the market's confused right now. It's digesting this number. The number was hotter than expected, which should be, bullish for rates, right? Bearish for bonds, bearish for stocks, meaning that the dot plot for the Fed is going to shift from where it was aggressive in March for their first rate cuts. That dot plot based on this non-farm payrolls number being, higher than expected, a lot hotter than expected, that dot plot is going to shift back now, maybe to May or something, right? which means the Fed won't start because the economy is strong. So the Fed doesn't need to start cutting as soon as everybody's been forecasting. So the market hasn't really priced that in, right? So people are off sides. That's why the market's dropped this week. But what we're seeing with this number is that a lot of the past non-farm payroll numbers are being revised lower. So it's hot number, but revised lower. Previous numbers is a bit of a mixed bag, even though on the surface, it looks very bearish for stocks. That's why we're seeing a little bit of a rally at this exact moment. All right, let's go ahead and look at corn. Corn market open now. I'm just looking to see if there's anything setting up for the 10 o'clock hour. Nothing here for corn. Okay, wheat, you're getting a pretty big move here to the upside. But you're coming out of quite a lot of support here for wheat, so I don't think, just looking at the daily here, this is not really an area I'd want to consider shorting wheat, I don't think. So even though this is the kind of trade I like when we're pushing up and say, okay, it could be an exhaust. Do I want to short up here anywhere, you know, for a reversal back down like that? And that might happen, but then what I have to do is I've got to weigh all that. I've got to look at, you know, my daily chart over here. I've got to look at, you know, my weekly, monthly chart on my other screens over here, right? I got to look at different volume areas. So a lot goes into me deciding whether or not I want to take the trade. Right now with wheat, wouldn't be interested in shorting that. It's really just a process of weeding out the ones I don't want to take. So here's soybeans. Soybeans are in a pretty good decline on the weekly chart. Let's go ahead and look at the monthly soybeans. Yeah, you got some support down here on the monthly for soybeans. This is silver, so we can just ignore this for the time being. Looking at the monthly soybeans. Now this is back to the daily soybeans. Here's the weekly soybeans. Big trend run down here. But you've got a lot of monthly support here. You've got this extension. I mean, you got a lot of support down here on soybeans. Into that 1260-ish level on the weekly and the monthly. And on the daily, you've got, so you can see that's where that exhaust, sorry, is reacting nicely off of all that support that we just outlined, right? So that's the kind of trade I'm interested in. But you know, with the ag markets being closed and then reopening, I wasn't paying attention to this, so I didn't take it. That's fine. Look at soybean meal. Don't want to take that. Soybean oil. See, these are the trades I look at. You know, so for the 10 o'clock hour, which is in 15 minutes, I'm not interested in stocks at all. Right? Remember, again, I can go over this scoreboard over here. You've got stocks we already went through. I'm not interested in. They got to go a lot higher. Bonds are doing nothing. Gold, silver, you know, I think silver is going to continue to drop, but they're kind of just hanging out with bonds for the moment. Crude, I'm not interested in right now. Natural gas, no. Currencies, no. Now I'm on the ags, right? So the first one I'm kind of looking at for the 10 o'clock hour as maybe a potential trade is, you know, I have to ask myself, okay, we're falling out of bed here with soybean oil futures, right? We're big hourly trend run down, right? But we're right at that nice extension and that low connector right there. This is a pretty good combo. It can be a good combo support level. You're also at the daily near low here, right? You see how the daily's in congestion, right? What's congestion? We're cycling, right? See how we're at these lows? That's the daily congestion support level. So there could be some support here. Now we have to ask ourselves, where are we on the weekly? I mean, there's some support here on the weekly for sure. You got the weekly near low. You got the weekly high connector turning point. You got some support down here on the weekly, right? Definitely. You know, where are we on the monthly? Let's go ahead and take a look. Chart settings. I've got my monthly on another one, but we can just go like this. Here's the monthly. Oh yeah, I mean, you got a really nice little pocket down here, so I like that a lot as well. So this could be a good potential trade to take. Now, this, put it back to the weekly. There could be some support down here on soybean oil for sure. And now this begs the question, if there's, hold on, I just got to get my DOM ready. What are we in the March contract? Different companies use different symbols here. Just give me a second here. All right, hang on. I don't trade soybean oil that often, so I have to get the symbol terminology correct over here. Give me a second while I figure this out. Yeah, it should be ZLH, but sick. I got about 12 minutes, so we. Give me a moment to find. Oh, I see. Yeah, so it should be ZLH. Buy soybeans down here. Soybean oil. Let me see here. It should be. Oh, I see. I think I figured. There we go. ZL8. Yeah. We're in business. Gosh. Got so many different brokers and things going on, but this is fine. Okay. So let's see. So I'm kind of interested, you know, in potentially longing soybean oil down here. You've got what could be a nice exhaust. You can see we're down here in the daily, you know, it's just the balance. Some people call it value area. I call it balance area, whatever. We're outside the most heavily traded volume of the day down in here, which could be some support. This could be an exhaust for a, you know how these ag futures move. I mean, you can see a move straight back like this. You just never know, right? It depends on the area. Oh, what the hell is that? Chart drawing. I don't know where that came. Probably a hotkey from Sierra Charts. I don't know what that was. Fireworks show. So this is really strange. Look, It's a fireworks show. I gotta get that off. I don't know why that's. I don't even know why is that. This is hysterical, guys. You gotta get this thing off. I don't know what it is. So, tools. I don't know what that was. That was really funny. Okay, so I'm interested maybe in longing this. It's either breaking out from here to the downside, or it's an exhaust that's going to reverse back up. I think there's a chance there could be some support down here for a move back up. Either that or it's going to fall out of bed and just, you know, smoke us. But let's see. Might have to take a long on this. I'm going to wait for it to close. You know, similar pattern would be to show you. Trying to look for an example for you. Well, I couldn't find one there on the hourly, but I think you guys know what I mean. We'll see. We might look for a long down here on soybean oil futures. Is the daily chart, I mean, there's some support down here for sure. The weekly, there's some support. It all depends, you know. If there's not going to be support, then this daily is going to crash through all this, and we're going to take a loss, and you know, there goes that trade. But the odds are that there's some support down here for sure. You can see we tested this level back here and held. We're retesting those lows here. All right, we got about 7 minutes to make our decision, and it depends on where this closes too, right? Like if it closes down in here, I'll take the trade, but if it closes up here, I don't take it because we're no longer in support. And so, well, why don't I take it now? Because I don't know, it might end up down here. I wait for the hourly closes. It angers me. It just helps me stay focused. Let's just finish our check here. Live cattle, nothing here. Hogs. Nice trend run up. I'm not going to short that. Good feeder cattle. Looking pretty bullish. Look at Bitcoin. Gonna do anything here with Bitcoin and Ethereum? No. Okay, one last look at NASDAQ. Pushing higher. Yeah, so I mean, I think these might be worth a shot to buy some bean oil down here. You can see soybean meal is pushing back up. Could be good for us. Soybeans are stabilizing a little bit. Doesn't mean that they won't go through the floor. They might. Wheat's pushing higher. Corn's pushing lower. Kind of a mixed bag here. So we've got about 5 minutes until this closes. I might take a long here. We'll see. Is soybean? Is it soybean oil? Is it $12.50 per tick? We'll find out. Couple minutes to go. Funny because, you know, I never stream, so sometimes I forget right now that I'm actually streaming. So I gotta remember, I'm streaming. Yeah, this good trade down here. Question is, where are we going to close the week? I guess we could close down through the floor, but there's a lot of support here, so I have to respect the support. Ags are challenging. I mean, for me, I don't really ever trade them, so I don't have as much familiarity with them as I do with the indices or gold, silver, crude. But I think we'll probably just put a trade on here and see what happens. I have enough reasons here that this could be a good trade for a reversal, potentially back the other way. We've got 2 minutes left. And the lower it closes, the better, because then my risk on the trade is less. My risk is basically down below these lows. I do think we're going to have to buy some soybean oil here. We're going to have to live on the edge. I'm only going to buy one contract though, even though these are smaller contracts. It'll just give me get back into some familiarity with the ags. So coming up on about 1.5 minutes here. I don't know if there are any, agricultural numbers or anything like that today. I guess we'll find out. Hopefully not. Not going to check now because I might have to buy this here in a moment. And the question is where to buy it. Usually I just buy at market. I think this one maybe we can buy. Yeah, I'll probably buy it at market. We got about 20 seconds. All right. We bought one contract at 94 at market. The mental stop is down below 70. So that's good. There's not, these are small contracts. There's not a whole lot of risk on this trade, which for me is good for now because I want to familiarize myself with the ags again. So one contract for me is fine right now. I mean, if it goes down here, I might add another one. But let's just see what happens. So we're long one contract of soybean oil at 94. And if the trade is correct, I'd be looking for it to get back up here. If it's not correct, it's going to blow through all the support and we're going to have to take a loss. It's going to be one or the other. We'll keep an eye on it. Well, that's nice. That's what we want to see. We want to see it going up. The fun thing is we can do this together on YouTube Live. You guys can see all my failures right out in the public, which is fantastic. All right, so we're long one contract. Where would my target would be really to make this trade even worth its salt. I mean, even if we get back up to 48.40 on one contract, that would only be like a $270 winner. That's fine. I don't trade ags that much. I don't know if there's any crop reports so one contract is fine. And if it wins, be happy it's a win. Called it live on YouTube. And then as we get more familiar with the AGSI, and we can increase our contract size. But for now, one contract is fine. You know, you look at, okay, the risk on the silver trade was massively more, right? So normally I like to keep my risk similar across the trades I take, you know, but for now, just kind of getting used to YouTube, exploring the AGS. I'm good with one contract. We're long from 47.94, as I mentioned, right down here. And the target, you know, is up in here somewhere. I don't know. Just have to see. From what I remember, you know, I've traded the AGS here and there, but not consistently and not a lot. But if they move, you know. And if they sit, they sit. It's very, very deep philosophical language there. If they move, they move. Sit, they sit. All right. So this trade's just going to work. I'll keep an eye on it on my DOM while we look through some other trades. But we're, again, for those of you following along, we got in at market at the offer here at 94. I don't have a stop in, but mentally it's basically down here. I don't want it to go down there. And the target kind of up in here somewhere. So let's just give it a chance to do what it's going to do. And let's go ahead and see what else is going on. It's 10:02 a.m. Eastern. So ES reversing nicely. You see, people look at this, they go, oh my goodness, it's racing off to, it's like FOMO. It's like, no, it's so much nicer to come into the day with a plan. You're relaxed. We know what we're looking for based on the pre-market forecast. You know, as we grow the stream, you guys can start watching the pre-market forecast. So when you come into the stream, you'll know what I'm talking about and, you know, why I'm interested in certain markets, certain levels, you know, all that kind of good stuff. It's just a better way to trade. So now this thing's, you know, firing to the upside and say, oh, I want to be in this. I don't want to be in this because all the other energy is super bearish. So like right now, if this goes up and if it just gets way up here, it'd be fantastic. I mean, look, this is the value area here from a couple of days ago. Value area low coming across over here. So the higher it goes, the better. And I said this could happen today. I said, depending on the number, you know, we may see a big pullback. This would be great. I'll tell you what, guys, if we can get a pullback, you know, up into 16,640 like this for the NASDAQ, anywhere up in here, setting this up for Monday. Oh, boom. I really think straight back down. That's what I think. We'll have to see. You never know. All right. The Dow is pushing higher as expected. The Russ. What are bonds doing again? Bonds are joining the party a little bit here. We got the. Meanwhile, I'm keeping an eye on our soybean oil trade. It's just kind of hanging out a little bit above where we got in. Everything else is rallying, so why not soybean oil? It'll probably be the one that goes down since we're long. This is the 10-year. Nice move off the lows here. We're gonna wait. You know, our next trade doesn't set up until 11 a.m. and I had a good day with silver, so I might be down for the day. We'll see how much energy I have. Certainly, it's been a good first test live stream. I'm glad I pulled the trigger and decided to do it. I'm kind of curious to see how it'll look once it gets up online. Well, that reminds me, I got to put up some of my. Well, I'll do a summary. I'll put that up. So. I'll do that at the end. All right, guys. Well, since we just started live streaming and there are no viewers yet until we grow the channel, I'm going to end this. And I think it's been a great day. I'll give my soybean oil trade a chance to work here. I'll just manage it myself. But we had a good day trading. Futures made 875 on silver short from earlier. Managed it very well, if you remember. I mean, look, guys, we shorted here, took profit here. I'm glad I took the profit, right? That was fortuitous. That's great. So now, I mean, look, silver is just rallying big time. You know, if we get a close, gosh, I may have to keep streaming, because if we get up here, I mean, I'm gonna have to short silver again. So I don't know, maybe we'll keep streaming, or maybe I'll just turn this stream off for like 45 minutes and then I'll just start another stream. I think I'll do that. That just seems to be the easiest way to go about it. Soybean oil is kind of just hanging out near our entry here. Go ahead and bring this up here for a sec. Here's soybean oil. I would have preferred that it kept going up. Well, soybean meal is pushing higher. I would assume that would be a good indication for our soybean oil, but I have to go back and read my old books from Charlie on soybean oil, soybean meal, all that good stuff. Soybeans are pushing higher, trying to. So, I mean, soybean oil, kind of the only one so far not pushing higher. Maybe it's the weakest of the bunch. I don't know. That's weird. You see how that works? It's just sitting there, and then it just goes up, you know, just goes up 5 or 6 ticks. It's open for now. I'll leave it open for now. I guess I'll keep a little bit of an eye. Soybeans soybean meal pulling back a little bit, but still, soybean meal's trying to turn the corner a little bit. Soybeans trying to turn. But soybeans look like, I mean, soybeans are in a strong downtrend. I don't know if that's when you really want to be buying soybean oil. I'm not sure. Kind of feels like maybe it's not that smart. Soybean meal's in a pretty good downtrend. Soybean oil's in a good downtrend. I don't know. Strange. You have some support here. Oh, we're up like 50 bucks on this trade. I'm going to go ahead and just close it. I made $36. All right. I closed it because I don't understand the ags very well. I haven't traded them in a while. I want to do more research before even though I'm one contract, my stop is 150 bucks, but I don't really want to piss away 150 bucks. So close that for 30 bucks. That's good. That put us over 900 for the day. I got to get these little sound effects for our live stream. We're going to have fun with that. All right, guys, I'm going to turn this live stream off and see what happens if it loads up to YouTube and all that good stuff. And I may start streaming again in an hour around the 11 o'clock hourly close, because silver, especially if we close up here around 2370, we're going to be shorting some more silver together, and we might do that on the live stream. But for now, this has been a good inaugural live stream. Shorted silver, made 875, fantastic, and managed it well. Happy about that. Soybean oil, basically a break even, made 30 bucks, no big deal. So a good start, and we'll just take it one day at a time. Take care, everybody. Like, subscribe. Let's try and grow the channel, have a little fun. Okay, see ya. Bye. See how I say goodbye.